Alright. This is going to be the most interesting video I've shot because I don't know what the hell I'm going to talk about. Well, maybe I do. So I'm just walking from my house. I work from home. It's so nice outside that I decided to go for a walk. Get my bag with me, and I am going to walk to a local Starbucks. Put a few hours in of work before I cash out for the weekend. Hopefully it's a good weekend. Weather's supposed to be nice here in Seattle. I know that's a misconception. We don't get sunny weather in Seattle, but we do. So yeah, I hope it's good. I've been watching lots of YouTube videos lately. People shooting vlogs, I guess you could say, and just walking and talking, and I realized that this is not something everyone's comfortable doing, including myself. I've shot some stuff with me talking on other videos, but it's kind of just spliced in as part of a broader, video. So I thought I'd try this walking and talking thing just for a few minutes and see how I like it. Good thing is there's no one around on this path I'm walking on, which is pretty nice. You'll hear cars going by and all that fun stuff. But it's going to get loud here a little bit, this traffic light up here. But something I realized when watching a bunch of videos is that it's really hard to see yourself on camera. Now, truth be told, many years ago, in my younger years, I spent some time in grad school, and I used to teach public speaking, and I used to teach college kids, how to give speeches. And we used to record them, and then they would watch themselves back and give feedback, etc. Incredibly awkward, incredibly hard, and it makes people incredibly nervous. But what I was preached to them was how much of a good experience it is to see yourself, to learn how to get better. And yet, that's something that myself and most people, I would argue, have a hard time doing. So here I am walking down this path with this camera and just trying to do it. So for those wondering, I'm using a DJI Action 5 Pro camera on just a little mini pod here. Had this camera now for about almost 6 months. It's a great little action camera. And, I got it because I want something outside of my phone, something that's a little more rugged I can take out in the outdoors, something that's easy to use, all that stuff you talk about. But something that someone else mentioned that I've noticed in a lot of YouTube videos is that you go off and do research for things like these, and
have a good day.
Yep. You do a lot of research and you find all these influencers that have all these videos, and you realize they're reviewing the camera, and all they give you is like speeds and feeds, and it's these well-produced videos, and they look all pretty, and they talk about these features. You realize they were all sent the camera for free, and they're all doing paid endorsements. Some say they're not, which is fine, but I never really see any finished product. You see clips of it for the features they're advertising, but no one just puts out a full end-to-end video. There's lots of talks about gear, and they want you to buy the gear so they get their affiliate links and get all their money, and then they want to talk to you about software and LUTs and all that fun stuff. And that's all good. I mean, it's all good to learn the stuff, but after a while you're like, can anyone put out just content that's actually creative, so I don't have to think about the tools you use and just enjoy the content? So that was what I set out to do. I created a few videos, if you've seen them so far, hiking and things like that, and it's been enjoyable. It's a lot of work. I mean, those little 6-7 minute videos, that's probably about, just to record them is one thing, but the post-processing and all that probably takes 10 to 15 hours at least of my time. But the end product is great. I like the end product. I think it looks pretty good, and I enjoy it. But I don't think I'm going to see myself on some video, showing you the best, SD cards to put in your camera, or mini tripods to use. And I mean, I could, like everyone else. I don't know. It just doesn't feel good to me. I do think there's value in talking about how you use the gear. That's okay. But I don't really want to see myself, with a close-up of a camera talking to you about which features to use and buttons to push and, how to mount your camera onto a tripod and all that fun stuff. That just doesn't feel... I used to be like that. I used to want to do stuff like that. I worked in product management for a little bit, and I love doing stuff like that. But I just want to see some content that's created. So other vloggers I've been following, whose names escape me at the moment, they start just doing these walking, talking things, and they call out the gear they're using. And they do some product stuff. Most of them, it's just them yapping about stuff that's important to them. I'm like, it's kind of refreshing. And then it's kind of like, that's how, big truck coming. Let's see how this audio does. Hold on. And then it makes you realize, if we go back to the early days of YouTube, that's kind of how it all started. People just talking into their cameras and doing just day-to-day stuff. And now it's morphed into a multi-gajillion-dollar business with sponsorships and ads and product links and influencers, and everyone just wants eyeballs on their content. Which, hey, you know what? That's okay. But I think some of the spirit of what we've wanted to do has been kind of gone, especially when it comes to products and things like that. And YouTube is rich with content, if you're willing to take the time to find it. I hope this audio sounds okay. I'm at a stoplight here, and there's lots of cars going by. And it's a pretty busy road now I'm going to go across. I usually run this route too, but today I'm just going to walk it. Oh, let's see. Here we go. That's me. See if this guy lets me in. Oh, of course he cuts me off. Nice. Nice, dude. Thanks for being like that. I appreciate it. So yeah, I'm not a big talker. I was like, how am I going to fill time just talking to a camera? Do people want to see me walking like other people? I don't know. I don't even know if I'm going to publish this video. What I do know is that I do appreciate people who just take the tools that they have and use them and create content and throw it out there and give a light to semi-medium description of the gear they're using. But really, it's just let the content just kind of speak for itself. And I think that's refreshing. As a photographer, I've done a lot of photography. Damn, it's loud. I spent a lot of time pixel peeping, shoot a lot of raw photos. I used to do weddings. And the second you publish any photos of any reputation of any site, they're going to ask you, look at any photo site, what do they have in the metadata? The camera you used, the lens you used, right? People care about the gear. But ultimately, if you hide all that metadata and put all those photos side by side, I would venture to guess a lot of people, unless you're super, super, super duper into gear, wouldn't really know the difference, right? I do know that one of the things that I like about this camera is I don't shoot in auto mode. I mean, in like pure auto, so I don't like the crispy HDR look. I put it in 24 frames and doing D-Log and all that fancy stuff to make it look a little more, non-mobile-ish, I guess you could say. I mean, I have an iPhone in my pocket. I've shot with that before. It shoots great HDR video. I can always tell it was shot on a phone. And I've shot some great video with it, sporting events or just out and about. And it serves its purpose. And I actually tried to shoot videos like this with it. Stabilization sucked, even though it does have stabilization mode. And I didn't like shooting in log because it sucked up all the space on my phone, even though I know you can use other apps to make the log footage smaller, etc., etc. But it just became too many barriers to actually just push the button and record. This camera, on the other hand, is like, I set a few parameters, which I've had to research, I will admit, to get right, but I think I'm there. And I just turn it on, adjust a couple things, just minor things, and away I go. And I bought a few accessories based on recommendations, and I've got a pretty decent kit I can take for walking. I can do stuff like this, but none of those things represent a barrier to record. I don't remember what video I was watching, but someone said the more stuff you put in place in front of that shutter button, more barriers you create, the less chance you are that you're actually going to record something. It becomes less enjoyable. So that's one of the reasons I literally right now I just have this camera on a selfie stick, and that's it. And I adjust a few things, push record, and I'm walking. Doesn't get much easier than that. Of course, now I'm that guy walking down the road here with a selfie stick and a camera, and people are looking at me like, what's this guy doing? Right? And that's the other thing, that, while creating content is great, once you pull out gear, either here or on a trail or anywhere else, and you look like remotely what you're doing, people see a camera and they instantly think, oh, influencer, YouTuber, and all of the I guess, impressions of that come with it. And I really don't want that. Although it's kind of impossible to avoid it. As soon as you pull out a selfie stick and a camera and you're talking to it, I think people just assume that's what you're doing. So it's just kind of the culture we live in. I can tell you this, 10 years ago, if you had told me I'd be doing this right now, I'd say you're crazy, first of all. Second of all, I don't know if the technology had been advanced enough at that time for me to do it, because, I have an iPad at home, I edit all my footage on there. Things I can do with a video now, with my very limited knowledge of how to use them, it's pretty impressive. I mean, sometimes I even surprise myself. So yeah, it's been an interesting journey using this camera, and I don't know if this video will see the light of day, but I think the one thing I have learned, and this has definitely been true, and it's something I used to tell my students, and I think it's a thing that's applicable to a lot of things, is you just got to do it. Practice and keep doing it more and more, and pretty much after a while you won't even realize that you're doing it, and then it becomes something you actually enjoy, something that actually you can build on. I think the problem I have is I see all these videos of people talking on camera and they all sound so smart, and I thought, am I going to sound smart on camera, or am I going to sound stupid, or what am I going to talk about for 25 minutes while I'm walking? I just don't know. Can I fill that much time up? Let's see, I've been walking now for 12 minutes. I'm still talking, so I guess I'm doing okay. Of course, this is just like one video. Like, what if I did this every day? I have no idea what I would talk about. So, anyway, that's my little rant for the day. Take it for what it's worth. I'm just happy that I can do this. I can walk in this beautiful weather, and I have the tools to capture some thoughts, and I can save them. One day I'll look back at them, remember the things I talked about. And maybe if someone listens to this, they're like, hey, I can relate to that. And that's good. And if you can't, it's okay too. Nothing I can do. I will say my last video I shot at the Dungeon and Spit, I watched that back when I was editing it, and watched it back a few times, and I realized as I was watching it, the talking portion of me where you can't see my face, there's like a 7 or 8 minute clip in there. I was like, wow, that's a lot of talking, and the visual is just me, this camera just kind of subtly bouncing up and down as I walk along this speech. I don't know, maybe next time I'll cut the video shorter. But I had a lot to say about my friend and my heart attack rehab, and it just kept coming out, so I figured I'd keep using it. So yeah, I've written some Facebook posts to my friends about my experience after my heart attack, and a couple of my friends have been like, you should write a book, or you should tell more people about what happened to you. And I started writing some things and creating some outlines of what I might talk about. But honestly, the act of typing and writing just doesn't come natural to me. I can do it once in a while, but I can't imagine doing a whole book of it. Maybe doing something like this makes more sense. I thought about making a whole series where I just talk about what it was like when I had my heart attack, like literally the first day it happened, and then walk through some rehab stuff, and I don't know. There's always this pause I have. How much do I really want to share? I share enough to people know, but do I really want to share all that information and make it public? That's always a debate. And once it's out there, it's out there. Not that my videos are going to get millions of releases, and I'm not going to be on the front page of some tabloid, because no one really cares about my content, maybe except the whole 6 people that I send these to. But I don't know. Maybe someday someone will find this video or find a video and look at it and have some, can relate to it in some way. And if that's the case, hey, I guess that's a job well done. Someone also said to me at work when I showed them another video I made, they said, it's good that you're making these videos so your kids can see all the cool shit you've done after you've gone, after you've left Earth. I was like, okay, interesting perspective, but then I really thought about it. Your Instagram account, Facebook account, whatever, TikTok account, all those things are essentially just digital archives of things you've done, if used properly. Obviously, not everyone uses it for that purpose, but I like to think of it like that. I think that's a good perspective to have, but not everyone does. I'm not doing this to get paid. I'm not doing this to get, whatever. And if people like it, great. If I get a lot of hits, great. If I don't, that's fine too. I'm just experimenting with creating this kind of content and seeing if I like it or see if other people are interested in it. It's really that simple. Anything else that happens after that is just gravy on top. So with that, I am almost at my destination now. It's been 16 minutes of me yakking. And I have no idea how this audio is going to sound, because I haven't even, I've been going by this really loud road. And hopefully, I didn't use an external mic. I do have the DJI mic too, but I haven't really used it that much because I haven't had need to. We will see how the audio sounds when I get home. I put this thing on my iPad and do the volume. So with that, I will bid farewell, and hopefully we'll talk again soon.